Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, wherever you are today. I would like to welcome you to our second seminar for 2022, ARSO seminar that's run monthly. Yeah. Uh, I am Dr. Mojen Sengimana, the Secretary General, African Organization for Standardization. I will moderate the session of today on Africa, industrial transformation, and the fourth industrial revolution. You have the interpretation. You can click on interpretation icon. Then you can choose either French or English. If you are bilingual, if you understand well English and French, you can just keep it as original. Thank you very much. Today, topic will be leveraging on the AfCFTA agreements, unique opportunities to enhance the benefits of e-commerce under the fourth industrial revolution to transform and position African economy as global powerhouse. You may ask yourselves that why this topic? So often, yeah, we leapfrog on other technology, but this is an opportunity once again that Africa can really take the lead in the fourth industrial revolution. If not taking the lead, participate actively in the fourth industrial revolution and benefit from the fourth industrial revolution. We know that there are data showing that by 2024, the digital banking consumers will be 3.6 billion. And when you look at the developing world, the proportion of account owners that have sent the money through digital platform increased from 57% to 70% from 2014 to 2017. And that is just before the COVID-19. Imagine the transfer through the digital technology from 2020 when the COVID-19 started till today. The COVID-19 has brought to the government, to the private sector, the need to support this digital transformation, not just on our continent, but all over. But there is still also a challenge for regulation. Today, we will not be just talking on the digital issues. We will touch on the different component of the fourth industrial revolution. When you look at the African continental free trade area, we will need to have an effective payment across the continent to increase intra-Africa trade. We will need to embrace different technology with regard also to the sustainable development goals. We are looking at e-mobility. We will have the discussion on automotive industry with one of our key speakers today. We are looking at e-commerce and other digital technologies. We are looking at 3D printing in the future, Internet of Things, blockchains. Yeah, that is our discussion today. At the ARSO, the African Organization for Standardization, we have developed the fourth Industrial Revolution Standardization Strategy in collaboration with IEEE Standard Association. This strategy has been launched by His Excellency Commissioner Muchanga of the African Union Commission on 9th December last year, 2020. And I would like to welcome our first speaker, who will be Miss Nadine Umutoni, who is the Monitoring and Evaluation Officer at the African Organization for Standard, and also coordinating the Pan-African Quality Infrastructure Joint Committee work. She holds a bachelor degree, and she's actually the quality champion qualified by the International Trade Center. She has been working with ARSO since 2017, coordinating the ARSO standard harmonization and conformity assessment project and other quality infrastructure activities comprising of standards, metrology, accreditation, and she has also been among the stakeholders and actually the pioneers that participated in the development of this fourth industrial revolution standardization strategy. Prior to joining ARSO, she worked in the Ministry of Local Government in Rwanda. Nadine, I welcome you to give your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Secretary General. As you have just said, I'm Nadine Mutoni. I'm sharing my presentation. Okay. Yeah. I'm just giving you the overview of the African Fourth Industrial Revolution Standardization Strategy. This is the outline. I will start with the general introduction, then go to the summary, a comprehensive summary of the African Fourth Industrial Revolution Standardization Strategy, and also give the purpose of this strategy in promoting trade and going through the goals and finally the actions for implementation. Starting with the general overview, the fourth industrial revolution is characterized by the convergence and complementarity of emerging technology domains. And these domains include the nanotechnology, advanced digital production, which comprises of three major components. This is the 3D printing, as you have just introduced. We also have human-machine interfaces, and under this, again, we have artificial intelligence. And we, again, under the emerging technology domain, we have new materials and biotechnologies. The compilation and the combination of all these give us a smart factory. Without going into further explanation, I can jump to the African Fourth Industrial Revolution Standardization Strategy. You have mentioned the genesis of this strategy. This is from the cooperation and collaboration of various institutions in Africa, but with the cooperation of the IEEE and IEEE Standard Association, which signed an MOU with the ARSO, and in collaboration again with Smart Africa, they organized a summit, a joint standard summit in Kigali in 2018 in Rwanda. That was hosted by the government of Rwanda. That's where now the idea of developing this strategy came from. Further, during the development of this strategy, we also got partnership of the trade, African e-trade, and the AfCFTA, and we also had a African Telecommunication Union, AUDANEPAD, and CSR, Fourth Industrial Center, South Africa, and the Fourth Industrial Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution in Rwanda, Dedan Kimathi University, and Standard Association of Zimbabwe. We started with setting up a landscape study, which gave us the status of what we should focus in the strategy. And after realizing this strategy, we were honored by the His Excellency Ambassador Muchanga, who officially launched this strategy in December last year, as you have mentioned. Now, the purpose of this strategy is to bridge the gap between physical and digital world by collaboration of these different partners, these standardization experts, technology communities, stakeholders, development partners, private sector, regulatory agencies, and other relevant stakeholders. This the assessment, the general purpose is to assess now the industry standards and the policy harmonization in order to enhance trade under the AfCFTA single market. Now we have set, the strategy has set the goals. We have 5 goals in the strategy for the purposes of, as I've just said, to boost trade under the AfCFTA. As you can see, we have the potential to harness, to exploit all the potential for the 4th industrial revolution, and also to harmonize standards. That the second is all about to harmonize all the voluntary standards under the 4th industrial revolution. The third now is to increase trade on the part of industrial development, and again the 4th is to build the capacities of all the players, and the last one is it's as liaison in the international standardization organization in terms of 4th industrial revolution. Now, some actions that are set by these strategies, these are set under each strategical objective. We have now to develop a 4th industrial revolution standards roadmap that needs to be developed. We also have to establish a regulatory environment, and we have also to target some capacity building activities. And under the strategic objective 3, we have to set partnerships to increase a partnership of all the players, for all the relevant stakeholders. This mainly the public stakeholders, private sector, national standard bodies, and the regulatory bodies. And we have to create liaison so that the African experts be part of the international space, standardization space. These are the key actions, is to create now a steering group which will oversee all the 4th industrial revolution standard activities. The other one, we will also ensure to make some researches on key issues under the 4th industrial revolution, and also make some needs assessment to be able to know what Africa needs in terms of standard development. So thank you very much. This is the overview, and I am open to any questions that is in relation to this standardization strategy. Thank you.
Nadine, thank you very much for your good presentation. I would like to ask you, I saw that there will be standard to be developed. Yeah. And there is also key issues on partnership, being expert or other key organization. What do you think of this 4th industrial revolution? Why is it important in the context of Africa Continental Free Trade Area?
Yeah, thank you very much. As we may be aware, the AfCFTA Agreement, especially in its Annex 6 on technical barriers to trade, focusing on Article 6 on cooperation and standardization, ARSO is mentioned as the sole, ARSO and AfCFTA as the sole institution in providing standard solutions in Africa. So this is in relation to also this African fourth industrial revolution. So this strategy now will guide standardizers, manufacturers, and also consumers to take part in at the continental standardization space by presenting their position and also raise their voices so that they are taken at continental level, hence increase the trade among the African the state parties. That's what we call the African member states to the AfCFTA that have ratified the AfCFTA. So as we all know that the importance of standards, which includes the removing trade barriers, also building confidence in business services, protecting consumers. But now these fourth industrial revolution standards will play a bigger role in reducing production and supply chain costs. This we can mention just a few. The trade logistics, the technology standard will just play a bigger role in facilitating trade logistics and lower transaction costs, and also make it cheaper for certain aspects of the production. And again, this one has been part of the implementation of the MOU that was signed by ARSO, between ARSO and the AfCFTA in November last year. So this is under the TBT subcommittee of the AfCFTA work plan. So this is crucial, and we hope that it will move forward, since now it has been taken care by the subcommittee. Thank you.
To follow up, because you are talking about the standards in this area of the fourth industrial revolution, and probably the standard with regard to logistics technology that you are talking about. What is the role? What are the strategies that ARSO has at the level of implementation or the level of participation of the Bureau of Standards? How the NSBs can participate actively in the implementation of this strategy?
Yeah, thank you very much. This has been done not only under this fourth industrial revolution, even all the other sectors, member states have been engaged, and now ARSO is also targeting to increase. So far, ARSO has 42 member states, but the African Union has recommended all the member states, the 55 member states, to join ARSO. So ARSO is now working directly with the member states, even non-member states, to join their standardization work. So they participate. The National Standard Bureau nominates their expert in a specific sector, and they join others in setting standards for the whole continent. We have had so many technical committees, and we have assessed each and every member state participation, and it's a work in progress to continue mobilizing member states, those who have not, even non-members who have not joined us, to come and join other experts in standard harmonization.
Thank you very much, Nadine. Maybe I will follow up if there is another question from our participant. Thank you very much for your presentation and your contribution. Our next speaker will be Sizolwetu Portia Mapanga. She will be presenting on understanding the fourth industrial revolution and the digitalization and the e-commerce opportunities for Africa, the initiative and experience of the African e-trade. Sizolwetu Portia Mapanga is standing in for Mulwalem, who is the CEO for African e-trade. She is a very young, charismatic, and self-spoken entrepreneur. Actually, she holds a small business at a startup stage in the technology sector. She got opportunities to explore and express and train other people knowledge and entrepreneurship in the fourth industrial revolution. She has been working with Africa E-Trade Group as an advocate and activist for youth in the fourth industrial revolution in Africa. She started her professional journey in high school in 2018, where she entered a national and international recognition program competition at Junior Achievement. Whereas the CEO in her team, she came up with a business concept under the fourth industrial revolution. In the e-commerce, she has met and mingled with highly recognized personnel in Africa through the program I mentioned, AGG, CI, Junior Achievement, and Africa E-Trade Group. At the AGCCI, she was appointed the Girl Youth Ambassador in Technology. She remains a youth alumni of the Junior Achievement. These opportunities have allowed her to be part of the world's biggest forum on the fourth industrial revolution. Portia Mapanga, you can start your presentation. Thank you. Portia, do you want us to load the slide for you? Portia, are you with us? Please unmute. You are muted. You are muted, Portia. Portia, you are still muted. Dan, can you unmute Portia? Dan, can you unmute Mapanga? Portia, can you unmute, please?
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Hammer. Please load for me the slide. Hello?
As your connectivity is low, yeah, if you can probably switch off the camera. Thank you. You can continue your presentation. Thank you. Panga, we can't hear you. I think Mapanga has a problem with the connectivity. While she's trying to reconnect, I would like to go to the next presentation while wait for her. We will take her for the next presentation. Our next presenter is Engineer Kari Francis Mbaraka, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Kenya Association of Bus Manufacturers. Engineer Mbaraka is also the Managing Director of the KABM Trading Center, an inspection company designed by the government of Kenya to provide conformance assessment services in vehicle design and manufacturing in the automotive sector. A professional engineer with 23 years of experience. Engineer Baraka has worked in various organizations in the automotive sector in Kenya. He's a member of the technical committee TC 122 on road transport vehicles at the Kenya Bureau of Standards. Engineer Baraka is also the chairperson of the Technical Harmonization Committee on Vehicle Technology and Engineering at the African Organization for Standardization, the TC 59. He is registered with the Engineers Board of Kenya. Engineer Francis Baraka, you can give us your presentation on Fourth Industrial Revolution, standardization opportunities and challenges, optimizing the benefit of the e-commerce and digitalization for the private sector, boosting the automotive industry in Africa. Please, you can go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Secretary General. I hope you'll allow me to share the screen.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay, I hope you can see it, Secretary General.
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, thanks. So as you have been told, I'm going to take you through opportunities and challenges in standardization with the focus.
You can put on the full screen mode.
Wow, mine is on full screen.
We can't see the full screen.
Actually, mine is on full screen. Secretary General, can I request somebody to display it from your end?
Yes.
Okay.
Dan, can you display the slide? Dan, can you display the slide for Baraka, Engineer Baraka? Thank you. You can see them? Yes.
I can see.
Please. Yeah.
Yeah, so move on to the next one. Now, the fourth industrial revolution is very critical, not just in the world, but especially in Africa. Yeah, it's very important for us to understand that the fourth industrial revolution builds on Industry 3.0, which is also known as the digital revolution. Now, you cannot look at the fourth industrial revolution in isolation. For Africa, more than any other region in the world, we have to understand the journey of industrialization, because unfortunately, it's like Africa would not work full or at the same pace with other regions when it comes to industrial development. So maybe just for a start, what is a revolution? An industrial revolution is a paradigm shift in technologies, and that's exactly what we have in Industry 4.0. It is a paradigm shift in technologies that continues to transform businesses across the world, mainly by use of artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, robotics, drones, and so on and so forth. Industry 4.0, or the fourth industrial revolution, is not a standalone paradigm. It is a paradigm that is informed or founded on the platform of the third industrial revolution. So it's worth noting that generally the world as we know it now is still operating at Industry 3.0. So what Industry 4.0 has just done is to develop soft tools that are used to improve efficiency and effectiveness of Industry 3.0. It therefore follows that for an economy to accrue or optimize on the benefits of Industry 4.0 or the fourth industrial revolution, then it should be having a strong, a well-established Industry 3.0. Move on. And that's exactly what we are going to do. We are briefly going to look at Africa, where we are in Industry 3.0, so that we may understand how much uptake of Industry 4.0 we can have. For a start, manufacturing is the hallmark of Industry 3.0. manufacturing plays a key role in the growth of meaningful and sustainable economic development. In Africa, unfortunately, the scale of manufacturing is still low. Africa's share of global manufacturing in 2010 was only 2%. So this actually testimony, our Industry 3.0, or the third industrial revolution, the uptake was not impressive, or is not impressive in Africa. In the same sense that manufacturing is the hallmark of industrialization, the automotive industry is the engine of manufacturing. It plays an important and influential role in the advancement of technology and overall industrial development in an economy. The automotive industry provides Africa with an opportunity to develop strong foundation for homegrown technological research and development. I hope everybody will actually underline the word homegrown. The industry in Africa is replete with challenges and opportunities in equal measure. Except for South Africa, the rest of the region is characterized with little or no homegrown automotive industry. Now, it follows that absence of a meaningful automotive industry in Africa has resulted in a scarceness of indigenous technological research and development. This in turn has impacted negatively on the scale and rate of industrialization on our continent. Now, how can we leverage on the fourth industrial revolution to grow our base under Industry 3.0? Yes, we have challenges, but despite these challenges, the industry in Africa has bright prospects. The continent has a vibrant, fast-growing automotive market. In 2013, for example, 1.84 million vehicles were registered only in sub-Saharan Africa. This number is expected to increase to 10 million by 2030. There is need to develop a regulatory policy framework to guide the growth and development of the automotive industry. Now, when you talk about regulatory framework to guide automotive industry in Africa, this framework should actually address the value chain ecosystem within our borders. It should be looking at the steel industry, the rubber industry, glass industry, electronics industry, and oil industry. Without developing this value chain ecosystem, then there is no way we can effectively play or grow our automotive industry, because it's only after we have developed this ecosystem that we can talk of a meaningful value addition required for the automotive industry. Besides talking about the value chain ecosystem, the regulatory framework should also come up with another framework to integrate the resources that we have on our continent, because that value chain ecosystem alone cannot move forward. So we have other resources at the continental level, which we have to come up with a policy, a framework to integrate together with the other value chain ecosystems. And we are here by talking about resources like our universities and research institutions, which have to be integrated with our scholars and college graduates. Currently, we have universities, yes, we have research institutions, yes, but without that comprehensive regulatory policy framework, you realize that there is no much that these institutions can do in terms of growing technological research and development. We have our natural resources, our markets. These actually have to be integrated in a framework, in a policy framework, to grow the industry. So these are all the things that have to be contained in that regulatory framework, focusing on how we can achieve a meaningful and sustainable automotive industry. Now, how are we going to leverage on the fourth industrial revolution to come up with a credible regulatory policy framework? The fourth industrial revolution, as I've said, accords Africa an opportunity to fast-track its third industrial revolution, which, as I said earlier, is not well developed. If you look at the tools available at the fourth industrial revolution, it will now be very possible to interact and collaborate with our peers across the continent. There will be now lower costs of interactions and transactions across the continent. We shall have reduced cost of collecting and transmitting data and information across Africa. We shall have reduced barriers across geographical boundaries, because now we shall not have barriers across the borders. If I want to get information, say from Sierra Leone, from Namibia, from Tanzania, it will be very easy and also cost friendly. The internet will also facilitate understanding, easy understanding and quantifying markets available, because there are some tools actually on the fourth industrial revolution which can carry out some complicated simulations. And through such simulations, you can fully understand the markets and even the projection, how the markets are going to grow, how the markets will be, say, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And this will provide a platform for effective development of value chains, because the value chains that are developed, they have to be developed to cater for the current and the future generations. So with on the platform of the fourth industrial revolution, we have the tools that we can use to fast track advancement of our Industry 3.0, and more specifically, the automotive sector. We have a few challenges, of course, when it comes to Industry 4.0 or the fourth industrial revolution. And one glaring challenge is the infrastructure across Africa. We know the penetration of internet across Africa is not so that much. That may be a limitation. And also maybe our youth have got limited skills. The training actually has not been fully implemented across the entire continent. So those are likely to be some challenges that we'll encounter. But there is one challenge I really wish to point out. In as much as we are talking about developing our Industry 3.0, yeah, in as much as we are talking about developing our manufacturing base, we should understand that the rest of the world already has developed their manufacturing base to the optimum. And we shall be competing with these global competitors. So we actually have to put proper measures in place, because the rest of the world is not waiting for us. We should understand that they'll be leveraging on the benefits of Industry 4.0 to the maximum. Yet for us, we are looking at the benefits of Industry 4.0 and also looking back at Industry 3.0, trying to develop Industry 3.0. So we should be prepared to encounter stiff competition from the well-established competitors at the global level. Now, in conclusion, I want to point out that when you talk about regulatory policy framework for automotive industry, I have observed on several occasions, most people and even some governments usually imagine that that refers only to motor vehicles. That is not the case. Automotive industry is more than vehicles. Automotive industry actually is a platform for formulation and development of engineering solutions for mankind. It provides a platform for technological research and development for entire range of machinery. I wish you could take note of that. Through automotive industry, we have a platform to develop entire range of machinery that are at the core of our daily lives. This is right from the handy indoor appliances like small shavers, small machines like washing machines, potato peelers, to massive outdoor machinery like lathe machines, milling machines, stone crushers, water turbines, grinding machines, farm machinery, name it. So the automotive industry actually is basically a platform for mechanics of machines. And that's why when we talk about a policy for the automotive industry, we have to have that open mind, understand that actually that is the gateway to manufacturing in Africa. So briefly, the way forward, my appeal to AfCFTA, now that it's in place, is that they should work together with ARSO to plan and formulate a comprehensive regulatory framework for Africa's automotive industry. This will enable Africa optimize on the fourth industrial revolution by providing the much needed platform for homegrown technological research and development. Thank you, Mr. Secretary General.
Engineer Baraka, you thank you for your presentation, but you made me really scared. Yeah, you made me scared. I like interaction with the private sector. The way it's really clear. You put on the value chain. And actually you said that automotive industry is not just vehicles. Yeah, it's not just vehicles. It's comprised of the value chain you put on the steel industry, the rubber industry, the glass industry, electronic industry, and the oil industry. And you also know, Engineer Mbaraka, that there are issues when you talk about oil industry, issues of emissions. And while the other world is moving to electrical cars, yeah, to e-mobility. Yeah, now after your presentation and the challenges on infrastructure development, on the need of the clear framework, yeah, I would like to ask you, do you think Africa is ready to embrace e-mobility?
Thank you for that very good question, Secretary General. The answer is a clear yes. Africa is ready to embrace e-mobility. And I think the underlying factor is, maybe the question should have been, do you think Africa has capacity to embrace and develop and maintain e-mobility? The answer is yes. If you look at our youth, at our syllabus in the engineering schools that we have at our universities, actually these people, the syllabus is competitive like any other syllabus elsewhere in the world. The engineers that are coming out of those universities, I've interacted with them. I've actually had a close analysis of these engineers. They are competitive, and they can actually rise to the occasion. The only challenge is we don't have that proper platform, a platform on which we can do research and development. So once we have formulated that policy framework, it will be very possible and easy for us to embrace e-mobility. So the answer is yes, Africa is ready to embrace e-mobility. All we need is that regulatory framework.
If you look at, I am lucky that you are working with the manufacturers of the buses. I live in Kenya, I see those buses. Do you think that we can project to have a bus from your manufacturing industry, which is electrical in the near future? Look at the infrastructure we have, look at the African roads. Can we have, you mentioned homegrown. You mentioned homegrown automotive industry. Do you think we can have a homegrown solution without always linking that we have the potholes, roads, and so on, and move to really electrical cars in the future as a homegrown solution on the continent?
Yes, we can. And still I move back to the regulatory framework. Our youth, if you look at our youth, and in fact, I've got some people whom I know who are working in foreign companies in South Korea, specifically, and even in US, who are actually very well versed in the field of electronics and electric mobility. Now, if you ask them, how come when they come to Africa, their output is likely not to be noticeable? You don't need to wait for their response. The response is there for everybody to see. It is the framework that we have not developed. And once we develop the framework and we come up with that value chain ecosystem, then their uptake of whatever they have learned in college will be visible, will be practical, and will be visible. Take, for example, if we talk about electric cars, we should understand that there is a component of electronics industry that goes into manufacturing electric cars. So we cannot talk about manufacturing electric cars if we have not actually developed our electronic industry. Electric cars also operate on a framework, which is mainly steel. So we cannot talk about manufacturing that electric vehicle if we have not developed our steel industry. So manufacturing the electric car as per se is very possible and practical, but it is not sustainable for as long as we have not developed our value chain ecosystem. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Baraka. I will come back to you if I find another question through the platform, the chat platform. Our next speaker actually is also linking to the value chain. Our next speaker is Vincent Kabunga, who is the director of Smart Metrics and the IEEE Africa Council chair. Kabunga is a knowledge management and organizational development specialist with cross training in engineering, management, and monitoring and evaluation. Vincent is a telecommunication engineer and a senior member of the IEEE. He has worked extensively in a professional capacity across Eastern and Southern Africa and in Southeast Asia. He has over 20 years of experience in sustainable development and organization capacity development. He studied electrical engineering at Makerere University and pursued postgraduate studies in information technology at the University of Pretoria and strategic business management training at Strathmore Business School. Vincent is passionate about driving digital transformation in Africa and in the future of work. He works extensively with young people, empowering them to develop their entrepreneurship skills and assisting them to be career ready for the workplace of tomorrow. He is a member of the IEEE Communications Society, the IEEE Computer Society, the IEEE Standards Association, and IEEE Women in Engineering. He has served as a liaison to the IEEE Board of Directors, chair of the IEEE Kenya section, and in various region capacity. He has actively led and supported efforts in the ground that have seen the formation of new IEEE sections, student branches, local technical chapters, and most recently, the IEEE Africa Council. Vincent Kakunga, I think we will learn more when you talk about the value chain harnessing the potentials of the fourth industrial revolution for Africa industrial revolution, the potential and benefits of the e-commerce for the African regional value chains. Vincent.
Thank you very much, Secretary General. It is a real honor for me to join this panel and share the perspectives of IEEE and the IEEE Standards Association. As you're aware, the IEEE is the world's largest professional association advancing technology for humanity. There are over 400,000 of us IEEE members across the globe. And one of the things that we're best known for are our technology standards. In Africa, we support our local members and work with very many other stakeholders in academia, industry, and government to advance technology and to assist in various ways in expanding engineering capacity within our region. Our recent work in this respect has been with the collaborating with ARSO on developing the standardization strategy for the fourth industrial revolution. And also we assisted in developing the African AI blueprint, which we worked on with the Smart Africa Secretariat. So we are very, very, very attuned to helping and supporting where we can in advancing this. As everyone has heard, probably I am very big on digital transformation, and more specifically, when we talk about digital transformation within a market, we are really talking about transforming a significantly large ecosystem. And just as you had when engineer talked about the kind of ecosystem that you have to think about when you're dealing just with automotive, you start to realize that, okay, we're dealing with a rather large animal. And when we talk about dealing with an entire market, it is significantly large. So the World Bank prepared this schematic as part of their work on supporting the digital economy for Africa initiative. And it really illustrates very well what this means. A single digital market running on e-commerce needs not only just the market itself, but it has to be supported by a data market. And underlying that, you need a connectivity infrastructure in place. And each of these needs its own digital enablers. So for the marketplace itself needs identification. We need to talk about payments, as was mentioned earlier. We need e-transactions. Public services, logistics are all things we need to think about. When you think data, suddenly data protection and privacy and cybersecurity, which recent events have highly illustrated as being something that we need to think about as Africans a lot more keenly than we have been doing in the past, we have to admit. And also think about how we strengthen our infrastructure and other services. And the issue of skills, the innovation environment, the hardware, all that enabling environment stuff is very key to driving all the value chains as we know them and as we want to transform them. But I'd like to just for a moment take a look at just one value chain and walk you through what this means and what the potentials are for us to leverage the fourth industrial revolution technologies. So specialty coffee is one that a lot of us in Africa have been impacted in one way or the other, directly or indirectly. And within specialty coffee, there's a very key one called relationship coffee. And this is the kind where the producers, the processors, the buyers and retailers and everybody within the value chain has an actively ongoing business relationship. And one of the key things in here is ensuring that, yes, we have a relationship, but there's a constant need for people to share information and for them to trust the information that they're sharing. And transparency. If it's been 2 months since the farmers in Arusha shipped off their coffee, they want to know where their coffee is at because they are expecting to get a premium paid on top of that. They would like to know how much was actually finally paid when the coffee went to auction, so that they are also motivated to continue in this relationship. When the buyer makes their order, they'd like to know when their coffee is going to be shipped, whether it has been shipped, where it is, and so on. So as you can expect, there is a very, very high demand for information sharing, trusting that information, and transparency and traceability within such an ecosystem. And there have been some groups that have done an amazing job in the past, and a group called Sustainability Harvest actually won an award for the work that they did in Rwanda, in Tanzania, and Ethiopia, in working with retailers, processors, and producers to come up with a relationship tracking system, which was, I have to admit, a lot of work. I happen to have served on it, but it was a lot of work. But when we talk about the fourth industrial revolution, we are now looking at opportunities to actually supercharge these value chains. And this schematic that we have here is actually courtesy of the IEEE Learning Network. And we have a course that we have on digital transformation, specifically on value chain. And I'd like us to look at this in the context of a shipment, just as the shipment part of the value chain process, the logistics, just getting things from a shipper to the customer and what it means. And you can see that all these actions that are in here have to happen and take place as these commodities are transiting from one location to the other. We can all appreciate the level and demand, the level of demand for transparency during such a process, and we have to trust this because we have no other way of doing this. So whatever is fed to us is something to believe in. What we are looking at with the fourth industrial revolution is, as I said, supercharging this. We now have the capability to throw in things like blockchain. We have the ability to throw in things like the Internet of Things. We can bring in cloud, and then suddenly everything is on a completely different level. You can see at the bottom there how a blockchain ledger is now being applied to take all of this and look at them individually and maintain them and maintain transparency. And now you can start running things like smart contracts. So people that are playing a role within the value chain and their piece is done, they don't need to be held up. They get their piece of the work done and they move on to the next piece. And the whole economy as such starts to move that little bit faster. And for everybody else, they know that this system is promoting trust. They can trust it. It's transparent. There's traceability, and it creates a much better opportunity for the relationship that we were talking about earlier to actually thrive and grow. And if you start thinking about what this then means for very many other people running other value chains, then now you really appreciate what it can truly do for the larger digital market that we're talking about earlier. But of course, as you can imagine, for this to work, then all the actors need to be functioning, operating using the same standards. And as IEEE, we've done quite a bit of work on this. We have e-commerce standards and a couple of other blockchain standards, and some on incident management and recovery, and lots of stuff on ICT as well. And I'll be happy to discuss a lot more about this if people could just reach out to me. Secretary General, I'd like to stop there for now so that we can have some more discussion, some more time for discussion. Thank you very much, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Vincent. Very good presentation. Actually, you gave an example of coffee that is well known on our continent. Yeah, that we really need to embrace the fourth industrial revolution. You said a farmer in Tanzania want to know and understand how much is my coffee. Yeah. How can you trace that in a way to give confidence to that farmer? Traceability as key, the payment as key. What do you see as the digital market, the main issues now on this different value chain? As you mentioned, we rely on the agriculture. We are not talking about any other value chain. If we want Africa, the agriculture sector is the main. Yeah. Well, what do you see as the key bottlenecks? Yeah, when we talk about the digital market, an example as in agriculture value chain.
Thank you very much once again, Secretary General. I think the ones that I have seen that we really need to look at closely, pay more attention to, as you've mentioned already, information sharing amongst ourselves and the issues of traceability. Traceability actually is one that I remember was a cause for some very uncomfortable discussions between a number of member states of COMESA, when a producer in one of the countries, a processor in one of the countries could not process dairy from another just because they were not able to trace where this dairy had come from, which was highly unfortunate. And issues of transparency. We have provided you with our dairy products. What happened? Again, these are issues that come over. And can we trust the information that you're giving us? How do we know if there's been changed along the way? Those are some of the issues that are really very high up there, and they seep into some of the other enablers. We talked about digital ID, for example, being one of those. How does an actor in country A establish whether the person they are transacting with in country B is who they claim to be? And if a payment is made in country C, how is that going to be handled by the time it gets to me? Those are some of the really big ones that we look at. We think we have to really pay close attention to. And again, as you mentioned earlier, Secretary General, the fourth industrial revolution has a number of tools. Blockchain is one of the really big ones out there that has a lot of potential to help us address a number of these challenges. And again, blockchain is in itself a suite of tools that we pull together to collectively call blockchain technology.
Yeah, how can standards really help? Yeah.
Thank you. Standards are going to be key. Standards are going to be key in the very same way that standards enabled us to have Wi-Fi becoming ubiquitous and enabling us to do wireless communications without worrying about who is using what. Because for a client in country A to pay a vendor in country B, you need to have seamless interoperability on the same standards. You need to have seamless interoperability when it comes to connectivity, payments, digital ID. We need to be speaking the same languages. So they are going to be really at the center of this entire movement. And it's really exciting that we have this standardization strategy in place. And already we are seeing a number of African countries outside to adopt some of the standards that we made available through our collaboration with ARSO. There's still a lot of room for us to do more work to adopt the other technology, the standards for other technologies in the 4IR space. And we're looking very much forward to having the opportunity to assist where we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you. In short, you said standards can help us to speak the same language. Yeah, meaning create the trust. Thank you. Thank you very much, Vincent. Thank you a lot. Yeah. We have CISO back. CISO, are you back?
Yes, sir. I am back. I'm back. Please forgive my internet connectivity.
No problem. No problem. We can now upload your presentation on understanding the fourth industrial revolution and digitalization and the e-commerce opportunities for Africa, the initiatives and experience of the aid trade. We were discussing on the value chains. I know you are also having your startup in the technology sector. We should learn more from you. Thank you, CISO.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Hammerjin. And I would love to say that the AE Trade Group is really excited for this amazing opportunity that has been given upon us. First and foremost, sorry. Right. The AE Trade Group, one of the greatest pillars that we look into is to create Africans market for tomorrow. This is because we believe that as AE Trade Group, a borderless Africa is unleashing abundant opportunities. What does that really mean? It means that hassle-free trade and digital transformation policies should be in place for a harmonious trade for SMEs, for businesses in the digital world, protocol on free movement of people, single airspace and transport market is also essential for a better trading or market for Africa. Another belief is that a digital connected Africa is here now. Now, as we all know, that COVID-19 came and took the world by shock, making a lot of businesses, a lot of organizations to improvise and use the online platform. And as the AE Trade, we looked into it and we noticed that, hey, that is a niche, and we should try to help young, small businesses and other big businesses to try and achieve the market through the online world. Now, that means we're moving away from the traditional marketing way, getting into the online market. We also believe that the digital native is well led by the youth population. And believe me, I'm also one of the young people that believe in the digital world. I am groomed, I am well knowledgeable about the digital world, and it is one of the world's amazing industrial revolutions of all time that I have seen. Okay. The relevant AU policy frameworks that the AE Trade Group looks into, I will just say a few because of my time frame. One of them is the AU Digital Transformation Strategies, which looks towards a single digital market in Africa. We also have the AfCFTA Agreement for the trade facilitation, regional value chains for SMEs, trade relation infrastructures. One more that we believe that is essential is the AU Convention on Data. That means data protection and cybersecurity. Okay, next slide. Now, as the AE Trade, we understand, the first question that we asked ourselves is, who are the fourth industrial revolution? And when we looked into it, we understood that the fourth industrial revolution changes that the fourth industrial revolution has come into the youth, and it is, I would say it is an industrial revolution that is well understood by the youth, and it's an industrial revolution that the youth looks forward to investing into. They learn in it, they produce a lot of activities in the fourth industrial revolution. And as the AE Trade, we took a time to understand who the fourth industrial revolution generation is. The fourth industrial revolution is an industrial change that is taking over the lives and business world of the youth. And the key elements that are needed by the SMEs to fully conquer the fourth industrial revolution world are the following: digital world, online presence, accessibility, reliability, and also security, innovative infrastructure and online incubators, easier learning opportunities for youth, because the youth is always online and they believe that their world is now in the online space. And most young people now understand the usage of websites to promote businesses, the usage of social media to promote businesses for better audience, and also to touch bases with so many global markets, to touch bases with so many other people outside their own countries in order for them to learn more. Another element that SMEs need to conquer the fourth industrial world is better internet connectivity for research, that means improving networks. So I would say personally that for me, I'm already having difficulties with my own internet connectivity here at home in Swaziland, and it's really giving us a big problem within trying to connect with the bigger world. And now if we're saying that as Africa, we want to enter the fourth industrial revolution, then it means we need a better access to the internet. We need a stable internet connectivity just in order for us to conquer and be able to to improve our economies in our different countries. Also, online business platforms where the youth can communicate, create chains, and also build business spider webs. Young people believe in communication, and as AE Trade, we have also started a platform that I will explain after this slide, pertaining connecting young people together in order for them to achieve certain goals. Okay, for the next slide. The AE Trade Group started an online trading platform called Sukuku Africa, one of my favorite platforms under the AE Trade Group. A trading platform that removes barriers and catalyzes trade. This holistic approach reduces risk and propels businesses to their full potentials. Now, we believe in 5 pillars of our online platform. First thing, financial service. This platform offers financial services, providing financial services along with partner organizations, provide consumer choice or interoperability, SME financing along with partner organizations. A lot of SMEs, one of the greatest struggles they have is obtaining capital. And the most important thing to grow a business or to start a business is capital. And as an organization, we see that it is important to also try to provide a young growing businesses to financial opportunities. Another pillar is smart logistics and fulfillment. An undefined African logistic ecosystem connecting various African logistic companies, strategic partnership with international air cargo and courier organizations, warehouses and packaging services. Also, another pillar is value-added services, giving young SMEs real-time market intelligence, cultivating new markets, bulk purchasing, and aggregation. And the 5th pillar, payment system, location agnostic payment gateway. The Sukuku online platform is out there to help young SMEs to connect with the bigger world, give them opportunities of the online platform to obtain funding, to be able to build capacity, to build their online presence, to also get a feel on how to move different type of products to different areas. My following slide. The digital marketplace and policy issues. The e-commerce responsiveness, policy and regulatory environment that meets the demand of the digital marketplace and facilitates the flow of legitimate goods. Expanding partnership. We believe that the more we obtain more partners within the AE trade, we believe that we are able to facilitate low-risk shipment and providing leverage to ensure free flow of data across borders with the necessary safeguard. The opportunities that we have under the AfCFTA, the adoption of the African Continental Free Trade era in March last year, offers numerous benefits, mainly new markets, foreign direct investments, and reduction in input cost. E-commerce will enable and expand all these benefits by, among other things, making market information available. Also, the platform allows digital marketplace tailored for Africa. The AE Trade Group provides tailored solutions, not only the platform, but also the organization itself, to overcome lack of visibility by traders simply because of where they live, lack of access to finance and financial services, banking, e-payment, service providers, lack of digital skills, lack of trust by online users. Because of time, I will not stress all of these points that the AE trade touches and looks into. For now, the last slide, I would love to say that let us work from every possible direction to lay the foundation for Africa we meet. And also, collaboration is the only way. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Caesar. I like the way you mentioned that this industrial revolution, it's understood by the youth because you like communication. Yeah. I also know that the youth is very, very much involved, is the one using the internet, is the one using the social platform, is the one actually that's can help for the consumer rights. Yeah, why I'm bringing in the consumer rights, I was seeing some of the question when you are presenting the so-called coup that you have at Africa e-trade. I would like to ask you, because one of the participants was saying, how do I trust that the product that I am importing or I'm buying from provider A is for good quality is reaching me as I saw it probably on the e-market? Yeah. Do you think the Africa continent is really ready for the digital economy?
Thank you, sir, for the question. I believe that, yes, Africa is ready for the digital world. And well, I say this because first and foremost, the digital world is already taking the whole world by storm. And previously, all these different industrial revolutions, when they came through, they have been missing Africa. Just because of us, we do not have enough resources, we cannot connect to the bigger world. But now, the difference with this industrial revolution is that in place of this revolution, it actually allows us to connect and learn from the bigger and the outside world. Hence, it means we are ready because we are allowing ourselves to learn from the outside world, how they handle the digital world, how is the digital world improving the economy of different countries, and how the digital world will help us develop or get to a certain world level that we desire. And the digital world, or the fourth industrial revolution, is very, very different industrial revolution because it is online, and online says it has an audience, and this audience says we want to connect to different people. It allows different people to connect to different areas. Yes, resources are scarce in Africa, and yes, we do not have enough financial aid for certain development infrastructures and so many other important elements for us to say we are ready. But I do believe vehemently that we do have a chance, and we do stand a chance in entering the fourth industrial revolution, making a change within the fourth industrial revolution with the little we have. But the greatest and amazing element that the fourth industrial revolution has is that we are able to connect with the bigger world. Hence, Africa will be able to learn or improvise certain elements for other elements. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Caesar. And I could see the role of the youth in this fourth industrial revolution. I would like to get back to the panelists. Actually, there were three questions that I saw mainly. The same as what Caesar was answering too. But one other, I guess I would like to ask Vincent, that one participant asked, how can we ensure that what is shipped conform to importing country standard? Yeah. If the consumer is ordering something or on e-market, how can we ensure that it's that product is conforming to the consumer importing country?
Thank you very much, Secretary General. I think what I'll start with is perhaps going back to one of my slides, and if you could just bear with me, I just like to share. And
yes,
that is,
please. Yeah.
And that is for the. Okay, just bear with me, please.
Or do you want us to share?
I have it up. I'm just going to hit share. And yes, it's up. Okay, here we go. Share. Okay, are you able to see the slide on the digital market?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so and thank you very much for this question, because this question actually is at the heart of all the e-commerce we're going to be doing within the region, because we're all going to be staying where we are. It's kind of everybody working from home and hoping that what they ship you from the takeout that you've ordered is actually what you get when you receive your dinner. And there's two pieces to it. The first piece of it is you want to know where your order is once you made the order. So that is a supply chain issue, and that part of the issue, I think, as we kind of discussed earlier, there's blockchain technologies that can quite easily take care of that, and we can kind of, if we wanted to, if we had the political will, we can fast track that. The second part of it, the one that does the verification, is a bit more involving, because it is more than just technology. It's a people issue, because it's very similar to the situation that you have when you go onto a website that you've never heard of, and it's called Amazon.com, and they're saying you want to have your credit card, please give us your credit card information. There needs to be an infrastructure in place that has somebody else verify that Amazon is who they say they are. Yeah. So we need to kind of develop that extra capacity. And this is where we talk about how the fourth industrial revolution is actually going to expand the job market, because these are some of the other roles that are going to have to come into play. Verifying that the actors are who they are, and that the products are the products that they claim to have, and that those products meet the standards as specified in some documents that we put away. And then we can then have those digital certificates tied to whatever payment system that we have. And you can see in here at the top, we have the issues of digital ID, consumer protection, and so on. That is going to need an extra layer of infrastructure, which we, as far as I'm aware, we are still not where we need to be at this point in terms of developing the capacity. But I'd like to be the optimist and say now that is an opportunity for our young people to move into and start really playing an even larger role in this fourth industrial revolution, which is actually going to create a lot more roles for people, but they're probably going to be different from what we were studying when we went to school. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The issue is on supply chain. Who is who? Yeah, who is who? And it's bringing me to all of you panelists today to ask you, are we going continuously to depend on external market? Yeah, do you think we're gonna be now, because it's digital technology, it's e-market, we continue also e-exporting outside Africa? All right, it's easy. You have all the gadget with you. You are exporting once again, through the outside market. What can we do? We have Sokoku. I will probably start with you, Cizo, and by answering that question, what is the solution to increase the digital e-market at the continent level? Because that's also probably bring closer to ensuring the quality product on the continent. Cizo?
Yeah, hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah.
Please, can you also repeat the question once more, sir?
Yes, you have Sokoku, yeah. The Sokoku, are we going to utilize once again the Amazon of USA, the Alibaba from China, or what are you doing that we also have the product closer to our consumers in Africa?
Thank you, sir, for that question. Well, from my understanding from your question is, what do we have that is local in Africa that helps the movement maybe of products? What is that we have in Africa, just like Amazon? Now, in one of my slides, when I was talking about the Sukuku platform, I did touch base on one of the pillars that we follow or we look upon, which is smart logistics and fulfillment. We want to, we have a strategic partnership with international air cargo and courier organizations. Firstly, that is because we want to first learn from the outside world, how do they operate, in order for us to introduce our own African, because we also have other young businesses. We also have air cargos and courier organizations here in Africa that want the opportunity. But first and foremost is for us to learn, how do these routes work? That is why we're in partnership with strategic partners from international air cargos and courier organizations to help the movement of products within the African business world, and also for us to learn how these international organizations work and how do they utilize the online world to move products, in order for us now to also start introducing, which that means that also the movement towards us having our own organizations that look upon it is still in the bag. We're still looking into it, and we are having partnerships. We are also looking into ways in which it could cater for Africans. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What would be your takeaway for this discussion, this webinar today? Your takeaway message as a recommendation.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, because I'm a young person and I believe that I represent the youth in Africa on this discussion. My takeaway from this discussion is that a lot of organizations in Africa are looking forward towards taking the fourth industrial revolution into our everyday life. Now, I mean more especially the business world, which is incredible. It's an amazing approach. And also, I love the movement that has started in Africa as a whole, because this is not my first forum or webinar where I have the opportunity to learn and know more on what what Africa is doing for the fourth industrial revolution, and I've heard a lot of tremendous stories behind it. And I believe that for me as a young person, and also for the young people, we are moving in the right direction. And also with more, if we look in more into infrastructure, into online incubations, and into making resources accessible to SMEs through the online world, then we will definitely meet a lot of market requirements. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Cizo. Nadine, this issue of quality of product, ensuring the quality of product within the e-market, does ARSO have something that can ensure the quality of product within the fourth industrial revolution standardization strategy that have been developed?
Yeah, thank you, Secretary General. I didn't capture well your question. Kindly.
What does ARSO have to ensure the quality of product for the e-market? Yeah, do you have any provision in the fourth industrial revolution standardization strategy in that regard?
Yeah, thank you very much, Secretary General. We also has always promoted the use of technology or the use of technological tools to facilitate trade in Africa. So we have already engaged our member states and African countries in developing some guidelines in this regard. And what I can say here is now the development of the guide on the Made in Africa. This document has been developed under the leadership of the African Union, and it involves the issues of compliance with technical regulations and quality infrastructure issues, and also the issues with regard to intellectual properties, and also the issues of rules of origin. All these are the tools, and are the tools facilitating the e-commerce, among others, to boost trade in Africa.
Thank you very much. Bringing in the quality, but also bringing in the intellectual property. I think the e-markets need also that to ensure that the intellectual property, the copyright issues are respected. Thank you very much for that. What is your takeaway message for this webinar?
Yeah, thank you very much. The takeaway message is to call upon all the relevant stakeholders, the standardizers, IETC, African IETC bodies, and also other private sector in relation to the fourth industrial revolution, to come together and to join ARSO in standard harmonization. For standard harmonization for the common interests for Africa. Maybe this will be done through proposing new item for standardization and harmonization, also sharing experience and information to overcome some challenges, mainly related to adoption of the fourth industrial revolution standards. This I can mention those challenges related to legal issues, security issues, and also ethical dilemma under the fourth industrial revolution. And also to contribute, they can also participate in contributing to the content of the standards, rather than in addition to submit the work items for standardization. They can also come and contribute to the content of the standards, or also through adoption of existing international standards in this regard. What I can tell is to assure that ARSO will be there to support the member state experts in providing the platform for discussion and also some key logistics to allow them to better and effectively deliver the standards. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nadine. Engineer Mbaraka, what is your takeaway message?
Yeah, my takeaway message is very clear. I'll just derive it from the presentation I've given. And in line with that, I think the lady in Eswatini, Sizo, summarized it very well when she said that our youth actually are quite eager. They have shown enthusiasm. And from my side, I said that they have shown the necessary competence. But as my takeaway message, in the event that we don't develop our manufacturing base in Africa, you will realize that the uptake of the skills that will have been gained by this youth in college, the uptake of the fourth industrial revolution skills will not be so much if these people came out of college into an environment where manufacturing is quite low. I mentioned that Africa only contributes 2% of global manufacturing by GDP. If you compare this, say, to some youth who are coming out of college, say, in Korea or developed countries like Europe, they'll find an environment where they'll be able to exercise their creativity, their innovative skills on the fourth industrial revolution platform. So my message is, please, all the stakeholders, let us come together on the continental platforms that we have, especially AfCFTA and ARSO. Let us focus on developing a policy that will guide manufacturing, and specifically a policy on automotive industry in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Engineer Mbaraka. Vincent, what is the takeaway message?
Thank you very much, Secretary General. My takeaway message is one of actually hope and optimism, but one that we need to also be wary. One, I am very hopeful and optimistic because I see a lot of political will to actually embrace this fourth industrial revolution and leverage it to advance our society in Africa. But also, I am also cognizant of the situation that we find ourselves in, as Engineer Karen mentioned, that we are actually, the fourth industrial revolution is not happening only in Africa, and some people are ahead of us. Yeah. So we are in the same storm, but we are not in the same boat. So we need to be aware of that and work very hard to ensure that we have all the other enablers in place, get our young people prepared, have all the enabling environment issues sorted out so that we can actually leverage it as we view the opportunity before us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vincent. And in concluding our webinar of today, just probably a short summary of I took really very few straightforward recommendation. One that is coming out from all of you is that this industrial revolution, the fourth industrial revolution, is for the youth. Let's involve the youth. Let's involve the youth, knowledge development, and involve them in any technological development. Youth involvement is one of the key recommendations. The second recommendation is the regulatory framework. Regulatory framework for digital economy, not just on automotive, but all in general on the digital economy in Africa. And the last recommendation is involvement in standard development. Let's grab this opportunity with this fourth industrial revolution standardization strategy and start the work of developing the standard, send the new work item. I saw different questions. How do we develop the standard to ensure the quality product on this e-market, the cyber security? And there are also international standards that exist we can leverage on. I would like to thank my panelists, Nadine Mutoni, Engineer Francis Kerim Baraka. I would like to thank Ms. Sizo Mapanga. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Vincent Kabunga, for your presentations. We will also share the presentation to all participants who have registered. I would like to mention that you can save the date on for our next webinar on 20th April this year, which will be for industry to the classroom and the university to look at the role of standardization from the youth. Today, our recommendation is youth and youth. We conduct different essay competition. We want to see how we link standard to the university, to the academia. We will be having different speakers, and we hope that this youth involvement that we talked today will come out next month. Thank you very much for your participation. Looking forward to seeing you on 20th April in our next webinar. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.